If the SAT were a mountain climb, kids from affluent homes would start out more than halfway up. So says the Century Foundation, a nonpartisan think tank. So, you're smart, the first in your family to apply to college, and you need money. How will you nail that SAT or ACT, write that stellar essay, find the tuition money, get that acceptance letter, and, actually graduate? Montgomery County boasts the highest rate of high school graduates in the nation, and many of those students have, of course, applied for college. But who will make it? Collegiate Directions, Inc., CDI, is a nonprofit organization that identified the need to help talented youngsters of modest means get to college and graduate from college. We'll meet Merab and Mirko, two CDI scholars who share how CDI gave them specialized college prep training. We'll also talk to a CDI trainer, and we'll meet the organization's founder. Find out how to make the climb to a college degree here on Studio 501c3. This is Studio 501c3. I'm your host, Pamela Wilkins. Merab is originally from Kenya, is a talented amateur photographer, and loves children. Mirko is an artist, and he came here from Cuba a mere 4 years ago. Because of the mentoring they received at CDI, they both have had successful college careers. Here are their stories.
The program at CDI basically works to help students with the college application process. So things that they do are, for example, getting you prepared for the SAT and ACT exams, helping you with the application process itself, like the common application or individual application to different colleges. They have workshops for career progressing and formatting resumes and all those things, interview preparations, just basically all those things that you need to be successful in college and get into college. They prepare you for it, and the program all these are given for free.
My father and my mother, they never had the chance to go to college. They just finished 12th grade and started to work because of the situation in Cuba. So I am the first one in my family to attend college, and they'll give me a lot of support. They're supporting me throughout the whole experience, and I'm really grateful for that.
In high school, I was approached by my counselor telling me about a program that was just starting up in Bethesda, and they would help first-generation college students with college applications and the whole process, because it was a little bit challenging for people who did not have parents who went to college. So I got to interview with Miss Teresa Ada, and then that's how I got brought into CDI.
I learned about CDI through a friend who was a current member of CDI, but they actually found me because I didn't know how you actually got into the program. So one day I got called by the counselor and went to a meeting in the Career Center in high school, and to my surprise there were all the counselors from CDI, and they said, well, you have been because you have good grades and have been a good student, you can apply to our program. And I got accepted, which was a blessing for me and my family, because today I am where I am thanks to CDI.
Brooke Fernandez is a CDI trainer and coach who has prepared her scholars for college and for life afterward.
The attention that CDI gives these students and their families helps open doors for these kids. They gain a sense of confidence. They learn that they can apply to, and then they learn in end of March, beginning of April, that they get accepted to some of the most elite colleges in this country. And that gives these kids incredible confidence, and they then go on to these schools. We have countless examples of these students who go on to these amazing schools around the country and just do so well.
The process of applying college is really overwhelming. I didn't have any idea how to apply, where to go, how to get financial aid. But since I became a member of CDI, they have given me all the help throughout the process, which was incredible. They gave me a free tutoring for the SATs, ACTs, and in my case I had to take the TOEFL, which is for people who English is not the first language. It was really hard. They'll help me to apply for a financial aid during the FAFSA. I was unaware of that application. They helped me correcting and editing the essays, which made a lot of difference because I wasn't prepared to do it myself. I was able to come after work hours to sit with my counselor, go over my essays, go over with the applications, and at the end it all turned out well, and I got accepted in 9 out of 10 colleges that I applied to.
CDI also has a mentorship program where students from previous classes pair up with younger students to help them kind of navigate the process of being new in college, and if they don't have family who has been in college before, so they don't really know what to expect. So you're paired up with a mentor or a mentee, and you basically talk to them, check in with emails or phone conversations, and just see how they're doing and basically help them and share your experiences with them because we're in the same position, being first-generation college students.
I started in college as an environmental study major, but I decided to change it to accounting because I feel better with numbers. I feel more confident. And my goal with accounting is one day to have my own Cuban restaurant because I'm from Cuba, and I want to open my own restaurant and just give the community something that they don't have here. We don't have that many Cubans in Maryland, and I feel like they're missing something really good.
My career goals really evolve around public health. Right now, I graduated with a nursing degree, so I will eventually go on for a master's or a doctorate and work in public health and global health programs abroad.
Financial aid has become an enormous barrier these days, as we all know. For the most affluent students, college is too expensive. In many cases, it's crazy. I mean, when you're paying now $55,000 or more in some cases to go to a private college in this country, that's, a challenge for anyone, let alone students who maybe, don't have the financial resources of some of their more affluent peers. And it is an incredible challenge. And at CDI, we work very closely with students and their families to negotiate packages, financial aid packages at these colleges, and work very hard to get them the funding that they so rightly deserve. However, it's an incredibly large challenge, and it's very tough.
CDI helped keep me in college because after my first year, I ran into difficulties with financing my education, and so I had to leave the school that I was in New York and come back home, and it was a little bit of a difficult transition in the sense that I had to apply to new schools and I had to start the application process over again, so I needed a little bit of help in figuring out what I was going to do there. So it was really helpful to have them as my support. It was really a difficult time, so just trying to figure out what I was going to do next, trying to figure out how to do it, and just having someone to help me.
CDI has made me more competitive than I used to be. I used to be really competitive myself, but with the help of CDI, I feel more prepared. I feel that I have the tools necessary to achieve any goals that I may propose to myself. With all the training they gave me, with all the counseling, with all the help and the constant aid that they give me whenever I need it, I'm sure I can make it.
The most beneficial part of being part of CDI was having a network of people to support me. It just came from little things, like when I needed to transfer, I had people to talk to, or if I ever have any kind of questions about interviews or anything, I always have someone to come to. Or even if it's something personal, like I just was concerned about something that was going on at home, I always had someone to talk to. And everyone is just always so willing to help and willing to listen, and just it's become more than just a program. It's like a family, sort of like an extended part of my family.
They have opened for everyone the gate of the future. They're giving you the key, and then it is up to you as a person, as a student, as a hard worker, to open that gate and keep going forward and never look back. Having an education has no comparison.
One thing about CDI that is really special and that has really become obvious just in the last couple years is these students, when they accept our offer to become a CDI scholar, they don't just sign on for what they think is the technically 6-year program. You know, we grab them in their junior year and we stay with them until they graduate 4 years of undergraduate in college, but they're ours for life.
For people who want to come to join CDI, really what you have to expect is being ready to work hard, because the expectation is that you will do your part. You have people who are willing to help you with the college admissions process, getting ready for SAT prep and all these exams that you have to do in career preparation, but you have to be able to contribute a large part of that because you are the student, you're responsible for your work. So you have helpers, but then you need to contribute the major portion of the work and just be hardworking and always willing to do more.
It is up to the person who comes here how hard he works to work, how willing he or she is to put everything behind his family, his friends, and come to a new country and start from zero and build a new life. And I came here seeking that, and I got so much more. I got education. I finally reunited with my family, who I didn't knew before I came here. I've made a lot of friends, and I happen to find also that significant other that we may spend a lifetime searching, and sometimes we never came across. And I did, and at such a young age, it is a blessing.
Working with these students, again, through the application process to college, working through that process, seeing them matriculate to some of the most outstanding schools in this country and succeed, and seeing their success at these schools is just amazing.
One thing that I want people to remember about CDI is that they give a very beneficial service. It's necessary for students who don't have parents who know the college admission process, and it's an amazing service to people, and it's needed, and it's amazing that they can do it all for free. So it makes so much difference in people's lives.
Don't be discouraged by life. Don't be discouraged by the ups and downs. Always look forward, focus on your goals. Don't lose track of it. And if you fall, it doesn't matter. Just get up again, undust, and keep going. I mean, life is all about challenges. Without them, then it would be boring.
We've seen what CDI can do for talented youngsters, but who are they really, and how does their program work? We'll find out after the break.
Have you heard the news? Montgomery Community Media has a brand new website at mymcmedia.org. Now it's easier than ever to stream and watch all your favorite local shows. Keep up to date with county voices and events. Sign up for TV production and social media classes. All this and much more. See what's new at mymcmedia.org. Don't just watch media, make it happen.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
It takes more than perfect balance.
More
than a great pair of legs.
More than a good sword.
It takes more than just talent.
More than the will to win.
It takes you.
It takes your donations to support the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams. And now you can donate on Facebook.
He's done it! The U.S. has done it!
Support the U.S. Olympic team on Facebook and donate to make Olympic dreams come true.
You can't text and pay attention to the world around you, and you definitely can't text and drive. Every year, deaths due to distracted and negligent driving are increasing. In fact, while drunk driving rates have dropped greatly, negligent driving fatalities have skyrocketed. Find out more at negligentdriving.com.
Welcome back. CDI is the brainchild of Nina Marks, a professional educator and consultant. She joins us in the studio to talk about how CDI has successfully guided its scholars to enter, thrive at, and graduate from colleges across the nation. Nina, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Recently, I have been reading quite a bit about how college educations may not be worth it anymore because sometimes people graduate, they can't find a job. They definitely graduate with a lot of debt. What's your answer to that?
I think it's an important national conversation. And I think it's a particularly important national conversation when we realize how many students in college are graduating with debt that will hinder, their choices, their opportunities thereafter for years, sometimes for life. But it is not a conversation that we hope our low-income first-generation students and their families have, because the difference that a college education makes for them, the game changer it is for them, for their families, for life, is unquestioned. The program works because we believe in better preparation, we believe in better support, we believe in better matching, and better funding. Those 4 criteria make a huge difference.
Okay. Let's talk specifically about the services and the type of preparation that CDI offers. Take, for example, test preparation, the SAT and ACT being so key to entry these days.
As you and I know, students who come from low-income families or who come from first-generation to college families don't necessarily understand how to prepare for a standardized test. What we do with our scholars is literally as soon as they enter the program, they begin a rigorous session each week of tutoring and test preparation. There is, of course, counseling, there's writing workshops, there's all kinds of other things besides. But that rigorous skill-building, core academic preparation boosts not only scores by 200 to 300 points on average, but also the chances of confidence and post-matriculation retention and success. It's one of the reasons our statistics are so different from the national average.
Yes, you're almost 100%, is that right?
We are indeed. The national average for low-income first-generation students who get to colleges, having beaten, Herculean challenges along the way, the appalling fact is that only 11% of these students will actually graduate in 6 years, as compared to 55% of their more affluent peers, and we're proud to say as compared to 98% of CDI scholars. And one of the interesting things about CDI supporters is that they have, including the Montgomery County Council, which we're very, very proud to list as a continuing supporter, we have found that people understand that this is long-term work. You don't make a difference in a day, a week, a year. It takes several years, really, to make sure that people get to and through college. And they have stood with us from the beginning. So I came to this work because I've spent 38 years as an educator. It's very clear to me, having worked with motivated and gifted young people who've had some advantages. What that provides beyond even the obvious. Yes, you may be able to pay for college, but you know what else? You go with a network. You go with people who understand what this experience may be like for you, who are able to help you along the way. Our first generation students have no such networks. And so I realized the importance of providing that same comprehensive yet tailored support for them.
Well, you mentioned a network, and you have actually a network of schools within Montgomery County from whence you draw your scholars. How were they chosen?
They were chosen, 6 partnering public high schools were chosen either because they presented to us with a significant population of the deserving students that CDI seeks to serve. That is a lot of free and reduced meal subsidy kids. Or we became aware of them and reached out to them, one way or the other. And so we work in schools where there is a significant need. Our average CDI scholar family income is $36,000 a year, maybe for multiple children. So we are really serving the population that is most at risk.
Well, you've highlighted the fact that your scholars come from homes of modest means, but they are still attending the same schools as their more affluent peers. So what is it about the first generation phenomenon or lower income that presents such barriers to young people?
That's a very good question. It's the same reason those students will need support in college later on, even if they're fortunate to go to a very good selective college, which is, we always hope that each student will find the best fit for him or her. In these public high schools, we need to be aware that the national average is 476 students per counselor.
476?
476, which means that if you have parents who can help you with your homework, with your college list, organize college visits, register for the SAT, do all the things that in our more fortunate networked families we sort of take for granted. These children lack all that structure and support.
So what are the qualifications for a scholar to actually join CDI?
People might think, looking at the results, because every single one of our scholars gets every year multiple acceptances to 4-year selective colleges, and every single one matriculates at such a college with an average freshman year grant of $30,000 a year.
$30,000 a year?
$30,000 a year.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. It's amazing. Part of it has to do with the college's realization of that national statistic, and the preparation and the matching that we've helped these young scholars to achieve, so that they go having a better fit with the school and being better prepared to take advantage of all that offers, right? So they are young people who must come into this program with a fire in the belly. If you asked what is the one core criterion, that's it. Because you cannot envision changing your life unless you want to, right? We know that. And so we're not looking for straight A students necessarily. We have very, very few sort of so-called superstars in the program. Rather, we look for students who might have a 2.6, around a B-, C+ average even coming in, but that fire in the belly, some proven leadership, interest, capability, and a warm recommendation from the referring high school and from our wonderful older scholars. They find deserving younger students and will refer them to us, which is a lovely aspect of this program.
So, I'm one of your scholars. I made it into school. There I am, probably feeling rather isolated because my circumstances are different from the majority of my peers in college. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges of staying, thriving, and then eventually graduating for your scholars.
They are ever present. I've talked about the high school years. They come in the 11th grade. They have these weekly tutoring, test preparation, writing workshops, counseling sessions. We maintain that very rigorous structure all the way through their actual matriculation at college, but it continues you know, long distance if needed thereafter. And our scholars are at colleges all around this country. Many of them take advantage of study abroad programs in their junior year, so they may be communicating with us from China, as some have. But they will still check in. There is a rigorous back and forth that goes on each month with each scholar. And what we're able to do is to catch the small problem before it becomes the big one.
Okay. Tell me what it is that CDI's biggest benefit is, not just to the scholars, but to the country in which they live.
That is an incredibly important question. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan said, "Education is the civil rights issue of our generation." And it is. The gaps that we have long had are widening. The need is great and it's growing. And there is one, just one, proven game changer for children who have neither means nor network, and that is education. At CDI and at wonderful programs like ours, because it takes an army as well as a village, we all do this work in partnership, because we know that we will not only change the lives of those students and of their siblings and families, but of their high schools, in their communities, and their networks as they grow and grow up.
Nina, thank you so very much for joining us on the show and for all the work that you and your colleagues do for our young people.
Thank you.
Young people are quite literally our future, and none of us can afford for them to be shut out of opportunities to learn and to earn. CDI is proving how a relatively small investment in time and training makes an enormous difference to a young person of modest means. If you'd like to know more about CDI, visit them online. We hope this was helpful. Thank you for joining us here on Studio 501C3.